I'll be with you in a second. Let me just finish this Janet Jackson song, all right? All right, I'm just kidding. Word. Just got back from a 20-miler. So inspired. Thirsty as all get out. And so I'm going to put together a nice juice today. I'm going to get some greens in. I'm a fruitarian boy. So these rides are nice because I always come back jonesing for some greens. Let me make a quick green juice with some kale, some celery, and some carrots. And then I got a wrap for you with just a minute and answer a question real quick that's been on my mind for like a week. So hold up 1 second. Okay, I got a big old batch of kale. Garden fresh kale. Watch your fingers. Nice and gentle. No sweat. Some celery. Carrots. And there I have what is, in my opinion, the perfect drink, the perfect blend of alkalinity, amino acids, taste, and hydration. Yum, yum. Total balance. I love them when they taste good and they're healthy at the same time. Amen? All right. If I seem a little boisterous, it's only because I am doing my darndest to turn up the volume a little bit. Some people have mentioned about the volume, so I'm going to pour that over ice today because it's like 85 degrees, and I just got back from like a 20-mile ride, so I'm like blazing. I had to go down to the store to get some pineapple for tonight's recipe. Yes, I'm making like 3 or 4 videos a day, but I just can't. All this is such great content, you know what I mean? Anyways, let's talk about Marilyn's question. I finally am going to get to this, and I'm so happy. Marilyn asked me like a week ago. She's like, well, my spinach and my greens are going bad. Okay, so what does Dan do? Dan likes to shop at least every 3 to 4 days, if I can. I live an hour outside the city, so it's a bit more of a trip than probably for most of you. If I could, I would go to the store every day. I would do intuitive dinner time, you know what I mean? Like, I would leave the fridge very empty. If I could do this, and I was like lived a few blocks from Whole Foods or something, I'd go in there and just, and pick out dinner like that, and pick out celery and spinach and go home and juice it right there, or maybe I'd shop like every other day or something like that for realistic. But since I live out here, what I have to do is basically buy my spinach, and I know that when I buy spinach, I'm going to eat it either that day, the next day, and no later than the day after that. And because just spinach and the greens just don't keep that freshness. That's a good reason to have a garden. Other things like watermelons, apples, and oranges will last a week or 2 in the fridge sometimes. Of course, now always the freshest is the best because food after it's been picked begins to lose its vitality. That's why wild foods and growing your own garden is awesome, because you've got that life force right there. It's still growing. As soon as it gets picked, it's severed from its expansion, and it begins to lose its non-linear life power. It doesn't totally lose it cellularly, and your body can definitely take the building blocks and the sugars and use those, there's no doubt, but there's a very subtle energy about wild foods freshly picked. Another thing I'd like to mention is that, so anyways, Marilyn, yeah, if you can, just go shopping as much as you can, because then you can go and get because the spinach is going to wilt on you, and so I hope that basically answers your question. I remember it being about spinach. But anyways, what I like to do, what I've done for years, is I use coolers. I don't use refrigerators as much as I can. I put water in there and fruit sometimes, but I feel like refrigerators are a non-oxygen environment and it has the potential to suck out oxygen out of the fruits and vegetables, sort of rapidly deteriorating the process. That's just been my own observation over the years. So what I do is I use coolers. So I'll use the refrigerator or the freezer, I mean, and I freeze those square blocks from the Crystal Geyser bottles. And then I've got tons of coolers that I keep around all the time. Certain foods do better, like greens stay really good in a cooler as opposed to a refrigerator. That's just been my experience. Fruit, I think, is a little bit better, holds up a little bit better. So am I telling you, it's like, okay, Dan, you're telling me to get rid of my stove. You want me to get rid of my stove. Now you want me to get rid of my refrigerator. What's next? My washer and dryer? Well, actually, I was just going to say, well, I wouldn't wear clothes if it wasn't for these YouTube videos. So yes, you got to get rid of your washer and dryer next. And then what? Your home? Yeah, you got to buy an RV, silly. No, I'm just saying that that's been my experience with the coolers. I love the way coolers work for my food, and I've been doing that for like a couple years, living out of coolers. So that's what works for me. That's a little tidbit in case anybody's ever really, that might be a benefit to somebody. But other than that, yeah, just shop and go shopping as often as you can because they get like a lot of really good co-ops and stuff get fresh shipments in every morning, and you can go in there and intuitively see which sometimes the lettuce is like wilty and you're like ew, but the kale is like snapping. Like I just had that kale and it was just tight, and really firm, and you could tell that it was really fresh. So I like to go into the stores and just pick out the freshest stuff. I don't really have like a shopping list. I just try to get the stuff that looks the freshest and crispest. So I don't really go by all these like charts of nutritional things like that, and I need this vitamin and that mineral and stuff. I just go in there and I find the vitality, because that's what it's always been about to me. I like the essence of it all. I don't try to get too much into the scientific, mathematical, linear equation of nutritional paradigms. I just want vitality. I want food that's vital. That's why I love wild foods. That's why I'm going to go out tomorrow, my plan is, and I'm going to make a wild berry smoothie. So you all can hold on to that, because that's my plan in the morning. So that was a question. I'm just glad I got to answer that for you, Marilyn, and I hope that somebody else got some other stuff out of that. I hope you're inspired to keep on drinking the green stuff, alkalizing the tissues, and whatever you choose to eat, I hope that you're doing it with love, enjoyment, and thankfulness. Janet Jackson and I want to get back on beat here, so I'm going to get out of here and let you go. And I want to let you know that, I mean, this is just, I just so much appreciate you, and that's all I can say. Let me tell you how this drink is, and then I'll let you get back to your busy life. What's more fun than watching Dan on YouTube? Come on. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Oh, thank God. Thank God.